Hi, so tonight's first video is buttermilk biscuits. So I've always had a hard time making biscuits until I found this recipe that took out all of the guesswork. So let's get started. So first we have our flour, 2 cups of flour. We add it in and we take our spatula and we mix it up just to aerate it a little bit. Then we have about 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Add that in. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Add that in. And then about a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So yes, we use both baking powder and baking soda in this recipe, and salt. So we're using our 3 leaveners. Now here's where the magic happens. You take ice cold buttermilk, mix it with melted butter. So first it just kind of looks like a funky mess. But then you see how it's lumpy? So you want it to look lumpy because this is how you get your lumps of butter in your bread. So then you just dump it in here. So this is very important. Gently mix it together. You don't want to overmix your biscuits because this is where I've always had problems with making biscuits, is that I want to come in and mix it like I'm mixing cake batter or cookie dough, and that is not what we do. So notice I'm like turning the bowl and I'm doing a gentle folding pattern with the dough, and then we're going to go back this way and back this way and make sure that we pretty much have all of the flour incorporated. Okay, so now working quickly, we're going to flour our board. So, because we want to get these biscuits in the oven as fast as possible. So, and we dump our biscuit dough out into the flour. See, it's a little bit mushy, but that's okay because it's going to pick up some of the flour from the board. So we're going to knead it very gently, a handful of times, 5 to 10. And even while I'm talking to you, I'm counting to make sure I don't over knead this bread. And we can do it one of 2 ways. We can either roll it out with our rolling pin, or we can just pat it with our hands. I'll do a gentle rolling pin. Notice that I'm putting some flour on it, not a lot, so you can see what we do. You do not want to press these biscuits down too much. You don't want to manipulate them. You just really want to get them into some type of shape that makes it easy for you to cut them. Now, we have our biscuit cutter. You'll notice that I'm using a metal cutter. Why is that? Because it's easy, and that's what my granny used, but also because it makes clean edges. And clean edges on your biscuits are very important because you want them to rise fully. You'll also notice that I'm dipping it in the flour each time, and I'm going straight down and back up. And that's so that I don't seal the edges. If you twist when you're cutting out the biscuits, you seal the edges and they won't rise as big as you'd like them to. So we're going to cut these biscuits out and then we're going to pop them in the oven. All right, so now you'll see that we have our biscuits cut out, and you'll see that I have them on a cookie sheet that's lined with parchment paper. I'm lazy, so I got the pre-cut parchment paper. You don't have to. I find it's easier. So now they're going to go into the oven for between 13 and 18 minutes, depending on your oven, at 450. For my oven, it'll take about 15 minutes. Here we are, 15 minutes later in our 450-degree oven. I've taken them out. I've brushed them gently with some melted salted butter, and here are our biscuits. Lovely, delicious, flaky, and just everything you would want out of a buttermilk biscuit. So that's all for today. Thanks so much for watching.